Hi everyone, this is the inside or the rear of an Audi 80 Cabriolet. Now I've seen a few videos on YouTube about replacing the front speakers of the Audi 80 and really I'm not going to cover that, although I have already changed these speakers. There are plenty of other videos that talk about how to progress with that job. But in any case, the rears after replacing the fronts sounded shockingly bad, so I decided to tackle it today and see what we could do with it. So this little video hopefully makes it a bit easier for those about to tackle this fairly simple job. Okay, right, first of all, this panel which holds the speaker is literally undone from the top. So if you prise it away, I've already removed this one, so just to make it easier, the whole panel comes off. You can see here there's a couple of clips which locate on the bottom. The whole unit then tips over and these then clip into place on the top assembly. What it leaves you with is a speaker hole, or a speaker which is attached to the chassis like so. And on here are 4 location screws. I've already cut the wire, so ignore that for a moment please. So once you undo these wires, these screws, out comes the speaker. Now this one screw down here is virtually impossible to get a blade onto because it is at such an angle and this piece of trim is in the way. So what I did was I literally got a drill and I drilled through that assembly so that I could get to it, and I literally just undid the screw from this point. It saves taking this whole panel out, and it's a clean job, and when you put this panel back on it's invisible. But in any case, got the speakers out and they come off like so, off this mounting. They just spin off, a bit like a light bulb really. They just unlock and away they come. But I think you can see what has actually happened to these speakers. All of the material or the cone is completely disappeared. I mean, they're dreadful. Well, the car is 22 years old, so I suppose you have to expect a little bit of that problem. The part number of these speakers, by the way, is an Audi part number. It's 8 Golf 0 035 401. They're very hard to come by these days unless you go to a scrapyard, but I think even then you'd find they're going to be in the same condition as these. So I looked online, looked at loads of speaker options. Nothing was going to fit straight in. It was always going to mean a little bit of machinery to get it to work. So I got to thinking, well, I surely must have loads of speakers in the house already. Do I really need to buy any? So then I went upstairs in our loft and I came back with a set of these, which you may recognise as ordinary house speakers. Now these are Panasonic. I've had them for a lot of years, but quite honestly, when they're plugged into my sound system, they're pretty good. In fact, they're very good for a fairly basic setup. So the idea came to me, could I replace this fairly crappy ordinary speaker with this fairly crappy ordinary speaker? And it seems I can. So next job was to literally remove all these screws, take the speaker out. Once out, literally cut the wires. And in this case, you can see they're pre-cut already. I've then mounted them onto the actual speaker itself so that we've got a connection together again. But this, I wanted to try and reuse this because the speakers themselves don't, if you put them in, they don't quite sort of fit. There's nowhere to locate them. So, well, I can use this old mounting plate. So I literally drilled holes here, here, here and here, and with some basic screws, panel screws, I screwed the speaker to this, which I'll show you in a second just what it looks like. Okay everybody, we're back. Just to save you the boring part of seeing me fit this speaker to this backplate, it's really simple, and each speaker, I dare say, is going to mount slightly differently, so I think best that you solve that problem yourself. But as you can see, I put 4 screws through here onto the back plate. I've just drilled into this back plate so I could remount using the old back plate, which Seems to make a lot of sense. And then after that, remounted the grill itself. Like so. Good, that's them all in. Now if I pop the panel back on. Right, so let's have a listen.
Just call to say hi, try to act fine, you know I'd be lying. Come to the start, telling the truth.
So I think you can tell they work perfectly fine, much better when you're in the car and you're not using the crappy microphone on my phone over there. So there it is, it's a cheap fix, it does the job. It's a temporary fix if you want to. You can always upgrade them at a later date, or you can just not bother. So those came out of those housings. They're 8 ohm, although the original speakers would have been 4 ohm. But after checking quite extensively on the internet, it seems that 8 ohm speakers will work perfectly fine on this system. So good luck. I hope you have the same success I did.